And good morning to you. Welcome inside the bottom line. Having to take it old school this morning. Bill wasn't able to connect with us on video. We had some problems last week, but I think I got you now on the phone. Do I, Bill?
I'm here.
Good.
How's it going?
Good. Appreciate you taking the time as always. And let's just start off with the white elephant in the room. Ohio State, Oregon. Surprised?
In some ways. What a game that really was. Entertaining game. Surprised that Oregon got that many big plays against the Ohio State defense. Not surprised at the poor in-game management. I live in the Central Ohio bubble, Lanny, so I know how the behavior trends when they lose. When I lived down your way, it was always after the Tar Heels lost in basketball, very similar.
Right.
So I don't think they have excuses, though. I mean, Oregon left a lot of points on the board in that game.
Yeah. Well, the way, and that's way past my bedtime. So needless to say, I can't. I don't make those late games like that. But I can tell you this: everything that I read said that they missed, or that Ohio State missed some real opportunities.
Yeah, they did. They had some chances at the end of the game, and there was a penalty, and they had the ball on the 24-yard line. They could have kicked the field goal to win the game, and they get backed up by a penalty. Then there's the controversy about the 12-man penalty, and Dan Lanning apparently deliberately did that. I don't like that either.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you teach your kids? We'll just throw a 12-man on there. No, but win. And coaching college football is a little bit different than coaching seventh graders.
Yeah. Did he really just take care of, I guess, do anything he could inside the rules, even though it probably wasn't the classy thing to do?
Right. Like, they put a 12th man on the field, and I guess the reasoning there is, hey, we'll just take the penalty and not get beat deep.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've heard this compared to basketball and, fouling at the end of the game and those kind. No, that's the same thing. They were in the lead, and so there was a rule interpretation clarified by the NCAA this week. And again, but we're dealing with this sport where the spirit of the rule and the intent of the rule, both on and off the field, are often blurred.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that. I guess the other big news, and this just came out yesterday. I'm going to switch gears just for a second. What's the deal with Tony Bennett stepping down right before the season? I mean, they're playing exhibition now.
Right. I mean, it's part of the game. He had, Mike DeCourcy has a take on that for us today, and I haven't read it yet. I've had a morning, as I mentioned to you. But the surprise that he's that young and being able to do that. I saw one tweet last night, like, all the coaches that have their money, they're not going to coach this new game. And
right.
There's something to that. Jay Wright's out. College basketball is devoid of most of the old school legends are gone, with the exception, I think, Izzo is probably the last guy standing. So is that right? I mean, am I missing anybody?
No, that sounds right. And here's the thing, though, Bill. Because the NCAA didn't do what they needed to do before all of this hit, there will be some kind of structure that comes into it. And for me, I have felt like it was better. A lot of people argue with me on this one, but I thought it was better for college basketball because you might get some of these kids that really can't make it to the NBA. They'll play more than a year instead of just trying that. And maybe they make a little money and they keep some of these kids in college.
That's a great point. I think this stuff is better for the college basketball players because there are fewer NBA, fewer opportunities to play in the NBA than there are the roster side. I mean, that's what it is. So, yeah, that's a great point. And with the NFL and college football, I always tell people, NFL care about the health of the college game.
Right.
Other than it's a free minor. They do from the standpoint that it's a free minor league system, but they don't care if Jamar Chase and Micah Parsons sat out a year.
Right.
There's part of them that care about that. They didn't care when Christian McCaffrey and Leonard Fournette sat out the bowl games.
Mm-hmm. Yep. When you look at college football, talking Bill Bender, Sporting News, I would hate to be Purdue tonight as Oregon goes into West Lafayette, Indiana, because Oregon may just have no mercy on them to show that they're still for real. They're a 28.5-point favorite, and I don't know that 60 points on the over-under line is enough.
No, and Purdue scored some points in the second half
Yes.
last week with Ryan Brown at quarterback. So, the possibility for a little bit of a letdown spot for Oregon, but I doubt it. They're making that cross-country flight. A lot's been made out of that.
Mm-hmm.
They're a good football team, and they showed that last week. And Dylan Gabriel, when he doesn't turn the ball over, that was one thing I was wrong about. You get influenced by the previous week, which is always a mistake. But he threw a couple red zone picks against Michigan State. Against Ohio State, he was aggressive the whole time, played very well.
Recency bias is what you look at when you think of the previous week. To me, college football this year has been close to excellent because there's been no real stinkers, so to speak, and the games that you're anticipating to be good have turned out good. Now there are some stinkers in some teams that, maybe I don't know, maybe they're not what they should be. And I wonder about coaching hot seats. It's already time to start talking about that when you look at Florida State, you look at Oklahoma, you look at Southern Cal, and Auburn are the four that come to mind immediately.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely those teams for sure. I think the good thing about college football this year is it's been a little more unpredictable.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that I know it has, because on my weekly picks against the spread, I've been struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care that I'm struggling, because it's you have a week where you don't see things coming, and that's good for the sport. When you're conditioned to pick on the years where maybe I'm 20 to 25 point games against the spread over,
Mm-hmm.
That's bad, because that means all the teams, because I always pick the favorites.
Right.
So, it's definitely been one of those years.
Does some of this get weeded out this weekend? I mean, you've got some huge games. Tennessee's got one. Alabama's got one. Does it start to shake out a little bit? And I think of all years, the way this thing has played out with a lot of teams taking losses that you weren't expecting, that 12-team playoff is going to come in awfully handy this year.
Yeah, and maybe, because you're going to have some pileups in the standings, and that's coming in November, where as you and I talk each week, we're going to start to talk about, how come there are 4 or 5 one-loss teams in the SEC, or 4 or 5 two-loss teams? Which one do we pick? Mm-hmm. And it's a different kind of playoff race than the NFL playoff race. I do think it would make more sense if we had. It's funny, we fought this for so long, but now that we're in this new era, probably wouldn't hurt to have divisions in these huge conferences, because I don't know if I'm wrong about that, but I mean, just having the number of teams that are in each conference, it makes it tough to sort out.
Well, like we talked last week, college football, the top teams are going to have to separate themselves just for football, and the college chancellors, presidents, whatever you want to call them, are going to have to give up that control, because if you don't, you're going to have some people that kind of take it on their own and come up with backdoor deals, because I think getting TV rights deals, they have no problem spending money if it's going to be good.
Right, yeah, for sure. And I think that's something to keep in mind as we move on. They definitely have. The product is starting to resemble the NFL. There are parts about that I like. There are parts about that I don't. Mm-hmm. The do-like is, it's a little more unpredictable. The NFL is unpredictable.
Yes.
It is. It's actually, I'll take that back. It's funny, as mentioned, my picks each week. I'm doing very well on NFL this year, because I think some of it is there haven't been as many upsets. There's always a couple each week, but the Browns are bad.
Yep.
And the Giants are bad, and
Panthers.
Last night, the Panthers are having a rough season. See, I was nice, but the Saints are bad right now. So you can kind of gauge. It's just about picking those games that between the really good teams. Great example this weekend, Lanny, is Texas and Georgia.
Oh yeah.
Third top 5 game. I've got the last 2 top 5 games straight up wrong. It was the home team, home underdog, pulled it out. Will the road underdog get it done this weekend? That's a big question.
Yeah, that's two huge games in my opinion. The first one is that you were talking about is going to be that Tennessee and Alabama game, and then the Texas Georgia game. Those are just, I think, huge.
Yeah, and I think so. And this Texas Georgia game is going to be a lot of fun this weekend. We wrote at Sporting News about there's a little bit more pressure on Kirby Smart, not hot seat. That's hot seat's no. I mean, he's 99-17 with 2 national titles, so he's not on the hot seat. But no coach is immune to pressure, and we said this during the week. So the pressure being they've had some off the field arrests, not some, a lot. You had the shoving incident last week. You're a former player, so I didn't get your take on that. My take was you can't say after the game I didn't know I did it, because then people are going to be wondering, does he know what he's doing?
Yeah, you got to own it. You got to own it. If you do something bad, do something stupid, you got to own it. That doesn't change.
Well, it's like we were talking about sideline behavior, and like I've coached my kids for 8 years, and there was a incident last year where I'm coaching basketball, Lanny, and we ran the play that my son's team, 7th grade, ran the play they were supposed to run, didn't throw it to the right guy, and I turned around, I kicked a bag, and the water bottle flew out of the bag, and I'm thinking, well, that was dumb. And it was one of the kids' water bottles broke, and got in the car, and I told Kimberly, my wife, I was like, I hope nobody saw that. My daughter was like, I did.
Everybody did.
Yeah, she goes, I saw it, and I was like, darn it. So I apologized to our parents, and got the kid, a new water bottle, and we went from there.
Right. Let me get your take on a couple of pro teams for right now. Is Pittsburgh making a mistake if they go to Russ at this point in the season?
I'm sorry, who?
Russ. Go to Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh. They're talking about making that change from Fields to Wilson. Tomlin said, he's played good. And I'm thinking, you're 4-2, your offense is 25 years old, and why are you making a change like that?
Yeah, it's a curious decision. And Mike Tomlin obviously knows what he's doing. You can criticize because it's a why. You are 4-2. You've got the Jets coming in. The Jets are going to be the team everybody's talking about on Sunday anyway. The defense is playing well. So, yeah, I don't know. I this is a rare I don't know what he's doing with Mike Tomlin. But, if it works out on Sunday night and they beat the Jets and they continue on this they're going to be at least 500 either way. It's just what he does. But I could throw off some chemistry things. I've been a Justin Fields critic. He's playing well.
Right. Well, sometimes, and to take that to another team, sometimes it's the environment that you're in. Who would have thought that the Minnesota Vikings would do as well as they are with Sam Darnold?
Well, yeah. I mean, and Sam Darnold, who knew that you get good protection and you get to throw to Justin Jefferson that you do all right.
Yeah.
He'll make mistakes, and I think some people are waiting for the other shoe to drop, but hey, let him play well. They have a tough one this weekend. As you know, I'm a big Packers fan, and his division's brutal, man.
Yeah.
Like everybody's good.
Yes, they are. Detroit, when you start talking about Detroit being good, that's something you haven't done 35 years.
Yeah, and Hutch, I hated that injury. I just hate it when players suffer injuries like that. Aiden Hutchinson, that was gruesome. I still think they could make their run. It hurts when you lose a guy that, leads the NFL in sacks with 7.5 and has as many sacks as the rest of your team. I just think they're an offensive team, and the way that Ben Johnson's calling that and Jared Goff is playing, they're so diverse on offense with what they can hit you with. They're going to be tough to beat no matter what.
Did the Jets make a mistake in their coaching decision?
I don't know. I think they're running the risk of letting a 40-year-old quarterback run the organization.
Well, that's not even a question, Bill. That's happening.
That's in progress of happening, correct. Yeah. And, when you trade short term, throwing to Devontae and Garrett Wilson, that's great. Long term, if it doesn't work out, you're going to have a lot of pieces to pick up.
Yeah.
So I texted my buddies all week, said, you know what, I love Aaron Rodgers and appreciate what he did for Green Bay, but I couldn't be happier that he's gone.
Yeah,
and
no.
that's so weird to say. It was different when Favre left because the emotions when Favre left were, I can't believe he put on a Vikings uniform.
Yeah.
Like, it was anger. This is more like relief. And you know what, quite frankly, Jordan Love and those receivers are playing pretty well.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree 100%. I know you got things to do. I won't keep you, sir. I appreciate your time as always. And hopefully we can get back together again next Friday. We hope your things settle down a little bit and see if we can't go back to our video, and I'll even try to make it work this time.
Yeah, we'll get it going. We got to go find a new tire, and then we'll go from there. But it was one of them. So I'll talk to you next week, Lanny.
Thanks, Bill. I appreciate you, buddy. That's Bill Bender. Bill had we couldn't do that because Bill had some tire troubles as he was, I guess, taking kids to school and had a front tire to blow out. So he's got to do it, but still kind of take the time to get with us. All right, guys, the boys will be in here in the morning. I guess me and Four will be back next Tuesday. Until then, don't forget WLON tonight, Lincoln at East Burke. You can catch that game on 1050 AM, 107.5 FM, and 1050WLON.com. Have a great weekend. See you.